interrupt me. If I'm in the middle of talking, you can interrupt me. I'm perfectly fine with that. So go right ahead. Alright, let's talk about the other game between the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals. That game, yes, again, Green Bay 6-3. And I have to say, is it more of us finding out how awful the decline in the Arizona Cardinals, or is it the improvement of the Green Bay Packers? I think it's a little bit of both that we saw today. You saw, again, the turnovers, and 2-to-1 ratio. Arizona had more turnovers, and again, Green Bay with a short field, literally impossible to stop. Let me be quite honest. You don't give Aaron Rodgers a short field, and he's just proven to repeatedly go again and again and again, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown with the short field. So, yeah, I didn't think that Arizona defense played well. I mean, Arizona's you're going to let Tom Crabtree, who's a tight end, just slip through that second level of the defense? Totally gashed your defense today. I'm stunned by the way Arizona played defensively. That's something that they prided themselves on this entire year. It was not that great today, and Arizona really couldn't get that much done offensively. So, impressive victory for Arizona. For Green Bay, rather. And just, I think we finally, identified who the Arizona Cardinals are. I think they are that team that we typically see, that hot team when we see in the first few games. They get on a hot start. But that doesn't translate to December and November. So, I think, to be honest, the Arizona Cardinals really have a ton of improvement, and maybe it's because of this quarterback carousel that's been going on in Arizona, but in the desert. But it's hard to diagnose which type of problems they have, specifically defensively. But it just seems like they have problems all over right now. And unfortunately for the Arizona Cardinals, they're going to be, in the thick of things against the San Francisco 49ers, who are hot, and they had a bye week today. So, yeah, I think San Francisco is going to run away with that division, even though Seattle got the victory today, in which we will talk about later. So, the Green Bay Packers and the Arizona Cardinals, I just think Green Bay, superb, capitalized, really showed that they got their passing offense back on track, and it was just supreme from the Green Bay Packers. So, let's take a quick break. We're going to go to the other NFC North opponent. This time, guess what the Bears' record is? 7-1. I'll tell you why they're 7-1 and what they did today. That, sure, they could compete with San Francisco, maybe. I'll explain in a moment. This is the Cameron Sadeghi Show. Alright, so, back on the program here on the Cameron Sadeghi Show. We wanted to talk about the NFC North foe. Yes, it's the Chicago Bears. They played not just supreme football, they played legendary football today. They just got 2 defensive/special teams touchdowns today. They racked up 51 points on the Tennessee Titans, who are 3-6. And to me, the Chicago Bears, just the way they play, and I've heard Michael Strahan on Fox even say this. The Chicago Bears don't even need an offense the way they play. I mean, let's face it, if they had no offense today, they would have won this football game. They would have won this football game if they had no offensive touchdowns. That just shows how solid of a defense and a special teams this is with the Chicago Bears. Now, some of you might say, well, I don't trust Jay Cutler. I don't like Jay Cutler. Well, let me tell you. Jay Cutler has a ton of support. So, he's going to be fine in December in my mind. He's going to be fine during those times. I'm just a little worried if they could beat San Francisco or not. I don't think they can. Well, possibly. But they got enough talent to do so. So, if possible, and I'm truly saying this, I think most of America, and including me, we've underestimated how solid this team really is in the Chicago Bears. This team, in my opinion, is arguably one of the best teams in the NFC, just based on record and everything. If this team could possibly clinch if they can clinch home field advantage over the entire playoffs, somehow, some way, I would not want to play in Chicago. Oh boy. In December, with the wind, with that balanced attack, and that defense and special teams, they're one of those teams that can win in any fashion. Just like the Houston Texans, just like the San Francisco 49ers. Not the Atlanta Falcons, though. I don't know about Atlanta yet. I know they're the only undefeated team in the NFL. And they're the last team who has a chance to go 16-0. But still, I don't think that the Atlanta Falcons are better than the Houston Texans or the Chicago Bears or the San Francisco 49ers. Because they don't have a superior defense. They struggle with sub 500 teams. You almost lose to Oakland at home, Atlanta. You have to make an unbelievable comeback with Matt Ryan. You cannot have late game after late game after late game after late game after late game and just bail yourself out with these type of victories. In the playoffs, it doesn't work like that. You got to put a complete game. And I don't think the Atlanta Falcons are as solid and as good as the Chicago, San Francisco, and Houston at that. I just don't think so at this point. That's all. And until then, I really, really, really see that. Then I'll believe that they are a team that can play as good as San Francisco. But I don't think they can. So, and until then, we'll just have to see. So, Chicago, superb. A lot of pluses. So I think we have to give them a lot more credit than we have so far. Unfortunately, it's because of their quarterback, and I like their quarterback. I like Jay Cutler. I do like his mannerisms, to be honest. People said, oh, he gave, in the NFC Championship game, he didn't lay it on the line. You know what I have to say, and people who criticize Jay Cutler, and people who criticize athletes and say, oh, they should play through the injury and all the... You don't know what's in their heart. To be honest, as a fan, or if you're a fan, or you're an analyst who's not close to the situation, or you're not a coach, or not a player, or you're not associated, or you're not in that mix, you don't know what's in someone's heart. You don't know what they're feeling. You don't know what the injury's like. You don't know what's going on. So stop jumping to conclusions. Stop calling Jay Cutler a whine baby. A whiner. Stop calling him names. Because, to be quite honest, he is one of the toughest quarterbacks in the NFL. Gutty. And it seems like we have a stereotype, and I'm going to try to break the stereotype on the program. Let me be quite honest with you. If Tom Brady does the same thing as Jay Cutler did in that NFC Championship game, stop going back 2 years, or if Tom Brady acts the same way Jay Cutler does, or Peyton Manning acts the same way Jay Cutler does, would they get any criticism? No. And to be quite honest, I think I'll come out here and say this. I don't like questioning people's toughness, or I don't like comparing people's toughness, but I think I could go out there and say this. Jay Cutler is tougher than Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. With all I've seen, I think I can make that assessment. And some of you are saying, "Oh, how dare you? Oh, how dare you say that?" It's a true statement. When you have one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL, and you're getting concussions. I mean, look at Michael Vick. I mean, my God. Michael Vick and Jay Cutler should just get a pay raise for the amount of times they've been hurt. And, I mean, just brutally attacked. I mean, it's physical punishment that they're receiving. I mean, they should just get an extra pay raise for taking all those shots and hits. I mean, my goodness. Someone do justice to these two quarterbacks. And I trust Jay Cutler in the playoffs. I think he is going to be that quarterback in the playoffs that will carry his team. I do believe he has mental toughness. I think he has one of the best mentally tough minds in the NFL. So don't say that about Jay Cutler. Don't be disrespectful. That's all I ask. Okay. We're going to take another break. And when we come back, we'll talk about Chuck Strong. Chuck Pagano. He wasn't coaching today, but Bruce Arians, the interim head coach, and Andrew Luck and company get a huge victory. I'll explain the speech. I'll explain the drama. I'll explain everything you need to know about that. And I'll talk about the Minnesota Vikings and the Seattle Seahawks and Tampa Bay, Oakland, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Giants. And then I'll give you a quick prediction. I'll give you a quick prediction for the Sunday night football game as well. Might as well just give it right now. We are just about seconds away from kickoff. And I'm going to have to go with Atlanta here. I still think Dallas has a lot of issues going on. I feel like if they're going to give way too many turnovers to I think the Falcons are going to give out way too many turnovers, to be quite honest with you. So I'm going to have to go with Atlanta here. Simply. Just solely on that fact. I feel I'll make a deal here. If Dallas doesn't turn it over at all, I think they could win this football game. If they don't turn it over at all. Now, if they turn it over more than 2 times, they're for sure going to lose. If they have less turnovers than the Falcons, and they have less penalties than the Falcons, they could win this football game. I think they just have as much talent as Atlanta does. Except they're just not disciplined, which is the huge issue. But we are very disciplined on the program, so we know we're on schedule all the time, and we are going to take a break. and get